Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here for week 39 of the Altered Index 2024 challenge. This is the weekly challenge that I run in my Facebook group, Nonstop Papercrafts, but this is also being hosted in the Junk Journaling for Everyone Facebook group. It has been wonderful seeing everybody's takes on the prompts that I release each week. If you are interested in taking part and you want to post your projects, you head over to either of those two Facebook groups. Use the hashtag as well, that way other people can search for the hashtag and find your creations. So the three prompts for this week, week 39, the colour we have is plum, the thing is a person, and the word is reward. So plum, person and reward, they're the three prompts this time. So I had a little think about this one. So when I was looking at person, I have lots of people stamps which I've used in previous cards, but I was trying to think of a different way to include person. I'm not an artist, I'm not very good at drawing, but I do have some people stamps, and I've got a really fun crafting stamp that's I think it's called a flippable or something. So you have what looks like the front of this image and then you have the back as well, but I thought the back probably speaks louder as to what I'm like in the craft room. The fact that you've got glue all over the place, I get it on my mat all the time. This is my messy mat, so I don't mind this one getting dirty, but you can might be able to see on the camera, but there is glue everywhere. I quite often get things stuck to me. My husband's often pulling bits of paper and fabrics and stuff off of my sleeves and things, so yeah, I just thought this was me. And then thinking of the colours and the word reward, again the reason I went for this crafty thing, because I was thinking, I found this quote, "The journey is the reward," and I thought, well, that could be lots of different things. It could be your journey in life, but I also kind of linked it to what I do. I love crafting, and while it's brilliant having a finished product, I enjoy the process. I love the journey, the creating, and all of that. So it's not just necessarily having a finished product done, it is also about the process as well and the journey. So that's why I've got my crafter in the middle of crafting at her messy table. So I've got her, I've got Dusty Concord, and this one's actually called Perfect Plumera, so it is a plum colour. And I'm going to kind of ink around this image and make this inky. I'm going to have the journey is the reward kind of coming down here, and I've just used this embossing tape that I have. I've used that in a previous video as well before. But I couldn't find any quotes on my word sheets that I have. I have different words and sentiments, and I couldn't find the word reward in there. So I just kind of Googled different phrases or quotes that had reward in them. And this is one that I found. It's a Chinese proverb, apparently. So that's what I'm going to use. Like I said, I've got my plum colours, which I'm going to use for inking around. So the only thing really left to do is to colour her in. So I am going to use, I've got two boxes and they kind of fit under the camera, but I've got my art markers, so I'm going to use those to colour her in. So let's have a look what we've got and have a think about what colours we want to make things. So the glue is obviously going to be white because I do use a white glue, so I might just colour in the label of the bottle. Now I use a Barely Art glue, so I think I will use a green, and let's see if I can find, do I have somewhere a scrap piece of paper? Okay, I've got a little scrap here that I'm going to use. I like to just do a little colour tester just to make sure that I'm getting the colour that I want, because always this colour isn't necessarily the colour it turns out. So these have two tips. It's got a broad and a fine. So I'm just going to have a look. That's probably not quite the right green. Let's have a look. That's probably a bit better. Right. So I'm just going to colour in my label on my glue bottle. I mean, it does say PVA glue, which I know the Barely Art isn't, but it is a white glue, so we're not going to split hairs. Right, I've got my paint brushes. So I want really some more sort of neutral colours for those. So let's have a look. What have we got? And I really like these art markers because they're nice and blendable. So I'm just going to put some different colours in there. Let's maybe use a brown as well. Oh, I think that's a craft knife, isn't it? So let's do this one brown. I'm going to do the craft knife blue. And that last pencil I'm going to do red. Just so we've got a nice range of colours going on there. Okay, I'm going to do my pot and orange. Okay, now she's got her die cutting machine here. Now I've got two Sizzix machines, but my crank one is a Sizzix as well, but it's white. But it does have obviously like the kind of teal colour plate. So I might just colour it in a teal, even though I know it's not. I have got an electronic die cutting machine. I've got a Cricut, and that one's this kind of minty. It's kind of I think it is actually called mint, the colour of it. So okay, so that's that one. I might do the handle green as well. And I assume that's the cutting plates coming out. So I'll leave those white because they are actually white on the thing. I'm going to colour in the handle like a silver. And as I say, I'll keep the cutting plates white and that bit white. Let's do her desk. But I do actually quite like colouring. It's quite a nice, relaxing activity. And I like that she's standing up as well, because I currently have a standing craft desk. I don't know why, but I do prefer to stand. Or I have done. I think as I'm getting older, I'm finding it more and more difficult to stay standing. Okay, something like that. And I think this is the edge of the table as well. Now on the other one, this is actually a set of drawers, so this will be the back of the drawer. So I'm going to do this panel a slightly lighter brown. That looks like, no, that's underneath the desk, isn't it? Yeah. So let's do a lighter brown. Let's just check what colour that comes out. Yeah, it's a bit lighter. Just want a slightly different tone, just so that you can tell it's still the desk, but it's a different section. I actually quite enjoy colouring. I don't do it as often as I possibly would like to. Has anybody else got alcohol markers? I'll tell you what ones I really would love is the tri-blend ones. So these obviously have a dual tip, but the tri-blend ones, they're all the same kind of tip, but it's 3 shades of the same colour, so that when it comes to blending and having that gradient of a shade, so perfect for when you're doing things like flowers or the shadow on something, yeah, they work so well. You don't have to think about, oh, what colour goes with what to be able to blend it from dark to light. So yeah, I really like those. They're on my wish list. I like those. Right, let's do her scissors. So again, I'm just going to use a grey just for where she's cutting. And let's have a blue just for some of these books down here. This was another reason why I liked her stamp, because she had books on her shelf, and I thought, yes, that's perfect. That fits in nicely with what I do. I can't remember what this is, but this is going to be blue as well. I think it's like a spool of ribbon. What other colour can I have my book? So I might do a green actually. Not the chisel tip though. And one of these down here could be green. Yeah, this messy desk definitely speaks to me, and I know you're all the same. I know you're the same as me, and you have a messy desk too. That is the nature of being a crafter, I think. Now don't get me wrong, I do like a tidy up. I don't like it staying messy, but it definitely does not look neat all of the time. And you obviously only get to see a small portion of my desk. Outside of this camera frame, there is a lot of chaos going on. What else can we put in there? That might be one of my autumn journals. Right, okay, so there's that. We need the colour for the book pages. So I've got this like super pale colour. Nope, that's not the pale colour I thought it was. Don't think it's that either. No. Maybe it's that one. Yeah. Just because obviously I tea stain mine, so I'm going to do that. And actually, let's go over these pages that are obviously falling down. These would all be tea stained as well. Okay, and then I think we're going to have a look at this image then. So she's cutting something out. So I think I'm just going to go for a little pattern on here. It doesn't matter obviously that it's not perfect, because obviously that doesn't matter. We don't know what she's cutting out. Pop that on there. What else do we want? Brilliant. Right, okay, so that's her standing then at her desk with all of her different crafty bits around her. Now then, to do the background. So I'm going to move that out of the way. So as I said, I'm going to use these 2 colours. Now I believe this one's a kind of deeper purple. Yeah, than the Dusty Concord. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the Dusty Concord, just to do a kind of light inking around, and then I will come in with the darker one around the edge. So I've got my purple brush. Obviously I don't want to get her at all, so what I'm going to do is kind of use this as a little bit of a mask so that the ink kind of goes around the edge. So this is obviously just a scrap piece of paper that I'm using. I'm just using it to make sure that I don't obviously go on her. Okay, so I'm just lightly going around this picture. Now because this paper has a lovely torn edge, I'm kind of getting that lovely sort of shadowing effect around, which I really like. So it's not just like even straight lines. Okay, so that's how it's looking. So I'm just going to carry on now on this side. Like I said, just going on with the Dusty Concord to begin with. Okay, and then now I've done that, I'm going to use the plum just to kind of darken it up in some areas. So again, I'm just going to bring this in because I just want to go on the edge, but I don't obviously want it coming in too much into my picture. Okay, quite happy with that. That's looking quite nice at the moment. Right, so then I've got to stick that onto my base and then get the wording on there. I'm just going to wipe down my desk first. Let's do that. Okay, so then we've got the journey is the reward. So this does need to be trimmed down a little bit. Right, so that's that trimmed down. So we're going to have, whoops, the journey is the reward, something like that. I could have it singular like that. The journey is the reward. I think I prefer it like that. Okay, so these are a sticker back, which makes it nice and easy. Do love these embossing tapes. I mean, they're not always crystal clear with the letters, and I think the O and the D look very, very similar. But I think that's part of the charm. As I said, I was struggling to find a sentiment from my sticker strips that I've got that had the word reward, so I just thought this was the best way to do it. So the journey is the reward. I really like that. Right, let's get the tab on. Okay, and there we have it. I really like my little crafting lady actually. Let's just double check. We have the word reward, we have a person, we've got our crafter, and we have the colour plum for the background. So I'm really pleased with that card. I think it's turned out really lovely. As I said at the beginning, if you are going to have a go yourself, please make sure that you're posting in either of the Facebook groups, or if you're doing it on any other social media platforms, just use the hashtag, and then myself and others can find you and be inspired by what you've made. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.